Wrestling is back on Saturday nights. Wrestling is back on TNT. But it doesn't matter how much the logos and graphics look like Nitro. AEW is not WCW and never will be WCW. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling, and it is official. AEW Coalition will be premiering on June 17th on Saturday. It will be ran every Saturday night for 2 hours between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern. So this is going to be a 2-hour show similar to Dynamite. It's not going to be a B show. It's not going to be some knockoff. It's not going to be a cheap version of Rampage. It's going to be a 2-hour show that is supposed to be level, that is supposed to be on par with the flagship show AEW Dynamite. So this is essentially the SmackDown to Raw. This is what Coalition is to Dynamite. And they've announced everyone who's going to be on it. They've announced the roster. They've announced the names that will be represented on AEW Coalition. And there was no CM Punk, which I thought was pretty insane. No CM Punk. This show was rumoured to be created solely for CM Punk, but he's not there. He's not announced, and you could argue they want it to be a surprise. Possibly, I get that. But are you telling me on the debut of this show you aren't going to advertise CM Punk, the biggest draw in the company, the reason this show was created? You're not going to advertise him? If people practically know, if people know this show's been created for Punk, why wouldn't you advertise Punk? Why wouldn't you try and get every single person you possibly could to watch on the premiere? Why the hell would you not announce Punk? Why would he not be on the main poster, on the main promo? Why is CM Punk's face not plastered in front of AEW Coalition? Instead, it's pretty much a bunch of jobbers and people that don't get on Dynamite, and we'll cover that in a second. But personally, I think it's a dumb idea to run a show on a Saturday. This is probably the worst night of the week you could run a wrestling show. I mean, most people don't want to be watching wrestling on a Saturday. Most people don't want to be watching wrestling at all. It sucks. But Saturday night, I mean, there's just so many better things to be doing on a Saturday night. A lot of sports tend to happen on a Saturday. People finish their working week normally Monday to Friday. So most people don't work weekends. They just don't really want to be sitting in the house to watch AEW Coalition. That would be my guess, but who knows? AEW Coalition, it debuted and does have some positives because AEW have cut ties with some other shows that they have, including AEW Dark and Elevation. So 2 jobber shows that were completely full of jobbers that pretty much all they did was squash matches. That's all that happened on Dark and Elevation. And I don't know why they had 2 separate shows when they were pretty much the same thing. I mean, there was no difference between Dark and Elevation. Why wouldn't they just have the one show and make it longer? Why did they have 2 separate shows? I mean, at least Velocity and Heat had, like, Heat was the Raw brand and Velocity was the SmackDown brand. What is the point of AEW Dark and AEW Evolution? Regardless, those shows are gone, so we'll no longer have to see them. Rampage stays, so Rampage will continue to air on a Friday. Well, at least for the meantime. We know the ratings are horrible, so who knows how long Rampage will stick around for, but right now, Rampage is staying. It's going to be on Friday nights, and it's still going to be 1 hour. So effectively, what I think is going to happen is Rampage is going to become the new AEW Dark, the new AEW Evolution. And you could argue that it was already like that, because let's be honest, most Rampages are garbage. A lot of the Rampages, they literally have squash matches, and you got like maybe one decent main event. It's a short show. The Rampages, they never had like the top stars. It's very rare you would get like an MJF on Rampage or anybody good on Rampage. So I think Rampage is pretty much just going to be devoid now of anybody decent, and it's going to be used just for all the guys that literally can't get TV time. So you're going to have your Dynamite roster, you're going to have your Coalition roster, then you're going to have everyone else that isn't quite good enough. Maybe people that are in Ring of Honor, maybe they're going to be on Rampage. Maybe people they get from like AAA that have no name value, they might be on Rampage. But with Coalition debuting, I think that's pretty much going to kill off Rampage, because any decent names that you did get on Rampage are probably now going to be put on Coalition. So I think Rampage won't last another year. That's my prediction, guys. I think within 365 days of making this video, Rampage will cease to exist. But yeah, CM Punk not on the poster. He's not on the names of wrestlers listed. But let's talk about who is on the names of wrestlers listed and who is going to be on this brand new show. So you have Samoa Joe. He's a Ring of Honor TV champion or whatever, the Ring of Honor World. I don't know what title he holds, but it's something to do with Ring of Honor. No surprise to see him on this. Powerhouse Hobbs, a guy that could never get TV time on Dynamite. No surprise to see him on this. You've got Thunder Rosa, a woman that nobody seems to like in the AEW locker room. Apparently she's hard to work with. No surprise she's been shipped to Coalition. You've got Andrade, a guy that we literally have not seen in about a year, a guy that I think we all thought was dead. He's going to be on Coalition. And then you've got the Dark Order. Not the Dark Order, the House of Black even. They're both bums. Although Julia Hart is pretty hot. She's going to be alongside those three on Coalition. And then you've got Rusev, another guy, or Miro. Call him what you want. Another guy that we haven't seen in like ages. Another guy we didn't even know was still wrestling. Is this guy even still employed by AEW? Well, apparently is. Because he's also going to be on AEW Coalition. They've also got like MJF and Cassidy on the poster. What I believe is what will happen is if they do have a brand split, I don't see them, creating separate belts. I think like the champions will be on both shows. I think the champions will be on Dynamite and Coalition. I don't see them adding another world title. It wouldn't make any sense. The current world title they've got isn't even fucking relevant, so why would you add a second one? Tony Khan did make a big announcement about this, guys, but I'm not going to go through his entire statement because it would just be him rambling on, talking shite. But he did mention that AEW has reached 23 million viewers this year across all of its shows on TBS and TNT, and I get what he's done there. He's trying to make that look impressive, 23 million viewers, but when you think about it, he has combined all the shows across TNT and TBS, and he's added up the viewing figures for the year. So 23 million ain't a lot. I mean, let's be honest, it's not. It's not a lot. I mean, you've got, 4 shows a week? 4 shows a month, even. 4 Dynamites, 4 Rampages. You've got 8 shows. You've got 8 shows a month. And then you times that by, we're into May now, so times that by 4, you've got 4 times 8, that's 32. Then we're into what? The 3rd week. Let's not count the 3rd week, let's just count the first 2 weeks. That's another 4. Add to your 32. So we've got 36 shows. 36 shows, and he's averaging 23 million total viewers. So, I mean, what does that give you? That gives you, like, combined across Rampage and I don't know if this includes Dark or anything like that. I don't think it does. I think it's just Rampage and Dynamite. But that means, like, across these 2 shows for the entire year, you're drawing about 600,000, 650. That's terrible numbers, man. But he's combined it just to try and make them look good. But yeah, 23 million viewers over 36 shows isn't great. Come on. It's fucking terrible, guys. I mean, back in the Attitude Era, WWE could have done 23 million over 3 shows. 3 Raws, they could have got 23 million. So, yeah, I mean, this is really, really poor numbers. But here, guys, whatever. AEW Coalition. I personally do think CM Punk will be on this. I'd be shocked if he's not. The whole reason they created this was pretty much for him. I just think it's silly that they don't include him on the poster. You want this show to be a success. You want to make the premiere as big as physically possible, and they're not putting their top guy on it. It just makes no sense to me, and I get it. Next week they could bring him back on Dynamite or something, and they could advertise him for this, or they could just make a video on Dynamite advertising him for this, promoting him for this. I get that, but why would you not advertise CM Punk on the official release of this show? When you make the official statement that Coalition is going to be premiering, why would you not put CM Punk front and foremost on the poster? Why would you add him a week later like an afterthought? It makes no sense to me, but that's perfect AEW and it's perfect Tony Khan. Guy doesn't have a fucking clue what he's doing, guys. That's it. I'm not going to get my blood boiling here over AEW. Couldn't really care about AEW, but had to make this video. Personally, CM Punk, look, just admit you were wrong. Just admit that you threw your toys at the pram, you had a good fucking career in WWE. WWE treated you well, they did. Alright, you didn't get to main event WrestleMania, but if you weren't a bitch, if you didn't quit, the likelihood is you would have got that chance, because Cena was like coming towards the end of his full-time run, The Rock was leaving, CM Punk would have got to main event Mania. I'm not saying he'd main event it every year, because obviously Roman Reigns has came along, but are you telling me that CM Punk wouldn't have got to main event one WrestleMania, whether it be like 31 or 32 or 33? Are you telling me that CM Punk wouldn't have been an opponent for Roman Reigns since he's been doing all these WrestleManias? You tell me we would never have got Punk versus Reigns at WrestleMania since the time Roman Reigns has ascended to the top spot? Of course we would have. So if this guy's going to bitch, if this guy's going to complain about not getting to main event Mania, then he's got one person to blame, and it's not McMahon, it's not Paul Levesque, it's himself. It's himself, you know. So if he wants to go to UFC and get knocked out in the fucking the opening bout, or if he wants to go to AEW and not even get promoted on the card, then that's up to him. But for me, I think this guy should just come back to WWE. Fucking apologise, mate. I mean, WWE have brought back people that they had like worse relationships with than CM Punk. There's no reason why this guy can't come back and finish his career in style with WWE. Fuck this shit company. That's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.